Hey everyone, Brandon from Caesar's Freedomstead here. So the big question, what is best for eggplants? Growing in the shade or growing in the light? Having full sunlight all day or having mostly shade and having a little bit of sunlight? So I've been experimenting with this over the years. I've looked into quite a few YouTubers and different growing channels and read a little bit up on eggplants on the internet over the years. But I mean, most of all the experience that I have in this area is personal experience growing all the eggplants ourselves and experimenting with it. And I know for the most part, depending on where you are in the United States or wherever, giving any plant a lot of sunlight is very good. But eggplants, it's good to give them some sunlight, but they like to thrive in shade. And so you want to give them some sunlight, but you definitely want to give them some shade as well. I'm going to show you the differences here and how to implement it, pretty much in your own garden, or if you're doing it in containers, like I do a lot of stuff in containers. And I have some videos about growing eggplants in containers and many other things in containers. So I wanted to go ahead and show you the differences here. So this year I did a little bit of experiment. And many years ago when we first started growing things, I kind of learned it back then, but overdoing it year after year after year, I wanted to make sure that it was the correct way of doing things. And so obviously it does depend on where you're at in the country as well. But we're right here in South Carolina. And so let me go ahead and show you the eggplants that we've grown this year so far. So this year so far, we're in July. Here's some of the eggplants in the big containers. So as you know from some of my videos, especially my eggplant videos, that I grow my eggplants in containers. And so this right here is the only one that's really fruiting something right now. I mean, a lot of them have the little starting blooms there where when eggplant's coming out. When it's bulbous like that, there's an eggplant is about to grow. So when they're getting a little brown, like this one right here, that one's not going to grow. So that one's going to fall off pretty soon. But they're going to come out like this, and they'll grow large or medium size, however. And so these right here, they look good. They just got to this size. We just transplanted these not too long ago. A couple weeks ago, we transplanted inside of these big containers. And these are about 2 feet tall, 2.5, 3 feet, something like that, between 2 and 3 feet. And they're just starting to fruit. And so it's going to take a little bit of while, but there's going to be eggplants all over these pretty soon. But these right here are the eggplants that I grew entirely in the sun. They got a tiny bit of shade. I'd say, 25% of the day is in shade. But the other 3/4 of the day was in direct sunlight. And so they're still doing really good. They're fruiting. And in fact, I will say that the eggplants that are grown in complete sunlight, they will fruit a whole lot more. You may not get the very, very big eggplants that you see in the store. I mean, those are grown a totally different way, by the way. The ones that you grow at home, they're not going to get that big unless you're giving it supplements and all these different things. But this is normal eggplant growing right here, and these were done in the sunlight. So like I said, the vast majority of the day they were in the sun, and they still grew really well. So looking good, great eggplants. They're going to grow much bigger, and they're going to fruit a whole lot more. Now, let me go ahead and show you the ones grown in the shade. Now look at that. These eggplants were grown almost entirely in the shade. They're in the shade now. See, I'm growing them underneath my deck. And I have them out about halfway. Where's the pepper? Oh, that's a good girl. There's a good girl. You come down and say hi. You gotta be on the camera. Yeah, you gotta be on video too. There's my good girl. She hunts all the snakes out here. Okay, I gotta make the video now. I know. So these were grown completely in the shade. Look at the difference. Kind of skinny. They're fruiting. They're tall-ish. These ones are really, really thick and bushy. The leaves are so green and healthy, and they are fruiting. They have flowers all over the place. So starting to come out, and there was a whole lot more flowers on these, but you'll learn from some of my other videos the way that you want to grow you know, really large eggplants. You want medium to large size eggplants. You want to limit the amount of blooms that are on the plant so it could put all of its energy into those, but you got to make sure that it's a healthy bloom as well. You can pretty much tell by what it looks like when it's first poking out of the bloom, the eggplant, if it's going to be a large one or not. And when these start fruiting a whole lot, I'm going to show you the differences because it's very obvious. So look at how large these are. Very, very big difference between these grown in the shade and these grown in the sunlight. You see, like I said, the ones grown in the sunlight, they're going to fruit a lot faster. And you'll probably get a whole lot more fruit on them, but they're going to be the small to medium size. This is the shade. They are enormous, and the leaves look so much healthier. And these right here, I'm going to get the large eggplants on, the medium to large size, depending on how I'm going to be cutting this thing. These I'm going to get a whole lot of small to medium size. So I'm going to keep you guys updated on this on future videos. I'll probably come out here in about a month or so, you know, maybe in August or so, and you're going to see all the different sizes of eggplants. And you'll be able to see firsthand what they look like on these versus the sunlight grown ones. But either way is fine. You could grow in the shade or in the sunlight. You're still going to get eggplants. You're still going to get a lot of eggplants. But if you want to get a large plant that grows large eggplants, I have found over the years, and it's been true this year, grow them in the shade. But this is what you want to do. You want to give them some sunlight. You don't want to give them totally shade, because then they're just not going to, you know, produce, you know, food for itself. It needs sunlight. So here's my deck. I have them half under the deck, which gives them shade pretty much for the whole half of the day into late afternoon. So early evening, when the sun is out for a good 3 hours or so before it sets, they're getting all their sunlight. So they're getting sun 25% of the day and shade 75% of the day. And these are getting sunlight the vast majority of the day, but 25% in the shade. So, but these, like I said, these are producing quicker just because they're getting a lot more sunlight. But these ones right here are going to give you the large eggplants, the ones that are about 1 or 2 pounds. The ones that you can make all the good recipes with, eggplant parmesan and all those different things. So I'm going to keep you updated on those. But I just wanted to make sure that my experiment was correct. And with what I read about the biology of these plants, you know, how they actually grow and thrive, and it's rung true. Growing them in mostly shade is much better than growing them in the sun in the long run. So in the long run, you're going to get bigger ones. So I just want to show you guys that. Definitely, if you can, or if you care to do so, grow your eggplants in the shade. So it's going to take a little bit longer to get your eggplants, but, you know, grow them in the shade. This is the summertime. Obviously, you know, maybe being in the shade is a little good for your plants because, you know, if they're out in the scorching 95-degree heat all day, you're probably going to have to keep watering them like 2 or 3 times a day. So, you know, another thing to remember about eggplants is they love water. I water these things every day. So obviously they're in containers. These big containers right here. I have 2 in each, and they're growing enormous. So that's another thing to remember. There's 2 in each in these, sharing the nutrients and the water in the shade. And these ones over here, there's 1 in each of these large containers, and they're getting sun all day. So it's up to you. Choice is up to you what you want to do. But I will show you in the next month or so. Give it about a month so I could actually grow some, you know, on all these different plants, so I can show you the differences. But, you know, in some future videos, I'll make another one, and I'll show you the differences between the eggplants, and you can make a decision for yourself. But this shows you that you can grow a lot of different plants, especially eggplants, whether you have lots of shade or lots of sunlight. especially if you live like in an apartment and you have like a little outdoors terrace or something like that, and you just don't have a lot of space, or you know it's shaded. Grow some eggplants. It'll work really well in the shade. Like I said, they get about 25% sunlight the whole day, these ones. So again, these are the ones in the shade. Beautiful large eggplants. That's my hand. I got a big hand. Those are enormous leaves. So, well, thank you so much for watching. That's my video on growing eggplants in the shade versus the sun. They're both really good, like I said, but make a choice for yourself. How often or how soon you like to get eggplants. I'm doing them both, so I could get lots of small and medium-sized ones early. And I'm going to get some big ones just a little bit later. So thank you so much. Hope you enjoyed the video. Please subscribe and like and share. We're definitely just trying to grow this channel and trying to teach you guys all kinds of different things we've learned over the years with growing, and hopefully this helps you wherever you're at, whatever you're growing. All right, thanks so much. See you next time.